Hi, Daniel. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us about Curse. So, I mean, it's a pretty basic question, but I cannot help myself. Did you read Weeping Monk and said, I'm in, didn't have to listen to anything else? Or did you like the arc or the genre that you were being asked to participate in?
I saw the makeup and the costume and the name, and I was like, I'm in, like that. That's it was a bit of both. One, I mean, I talked to Tom about the script and about the character, and there was an idea of who he was and what the kind of the internal life of who this person was, and then on top of that, there was it's a very kind of almost iconic drawings from Frank Miller, and I was like, you kind of have to say yes, because you're like, I have to look cool, especially for my younger half brother and sister who are kind of just beginning to be able to watch the things that I am in, and so there's an element of me having to look cool so that they do what I tell them to do.
But one of the interesting things about I wanted to talk to you about that, because he's very much an enigma throughout the beginning episodes. But yeah. Did you have the details that I'm not going to talk, because I don't want to spoil it for the people who are seeing this, about the sort of the reveal of the inner conflict that he has? Did you have that from the get-go?
I did, yeah, I did, and I was interested to kind of try and basically kind of hide that information as much as I could, because it kind of informs so much of his backstory and how he kind of got to this point. So it's kind of interesting, because I told Tom to take all the words out. I wanted none of the lines, and I wanted it to sit in a place that people really, like you say, don't really know what's going on. And then at the end, there's a sense of like, oh, wow, okay. Suddenly I have to make all those kind of assumptions and all those things kind of fit into this story. And so that was kind of fun. And I knew that was going to be something that was like a long game. It's going to take a while, but hopefully by the end, you're like, oh, that's a really cool little thing to kind of just kick in there.
Yeah, most definitely. The payoff is fantastic. So hats off to you. Let me ask you this, because you mentioned looking cool and there's a member of your family, but you do look like a badass every time you're on screen. But that I want to talk about what we don't think about while we're watching a show, like the reality of having to wear that costume for 8 months and having to do what you do in it. So did the badass thing got you through all the time, or did you?
You have no idea how many outtakes there are of me like either falling over my cape, my hood like going over the top of my face. One of the things about that costume is it looks incredible. There's this sense of like real kind of mystery about it, because you can't see him really, but part of that is I can't see anything. I mean, I'm like, I'm like, and once you're clipped in, you're kind of clipped in, so there was a definite sense of like I couldn't see anybody and I didn't know where anything was, so I was like clunking, and I had this sword that kind of would take people out, and and so for 8 months you kind of live in a little bit of a kind of a tunnel, and so I felt like a horse with blinkers on most of the time, which definitely kind of looks cool on screen, but internally I'm like, just kind of when I'm fighting, I'm just kind of like following a kind of basic rudimentary kind of, oh my God, that's there. Oh, you know what I mean? So there's that's something that I couldn't, he has kind of incredible fighting skills, but Daniel Sharman definitely does not. So there was a bit of a...
No, but you saw that, so congratulations. I would like to have an episode with your inner monologue while watching now that you told me. But my time's up. Thank you so much for talking to me about the show. Stay safe.
And you, man. Appreciate it. Thank you.